Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Hey everyone, it's Amber from A Meeple Family, and wow, it has really been a very, very long time. If you've been around a while, you've probably noticed that I disappeared from YouTube for over 2 years. Life took some very unexpected turns with my daughter becoming very ill, and I had to step away. But through it all, board games and this incredible hobby have truly been a huge source of comfort for me and just an escape. During some of my absolute hardest days, watching other board game creators truly helped me feel connected to something that I loved, even when I couldn't play very much myself at all. I always dreamed of getting back into content creation, and people were asking me all the time if I was coming back, but I wasn't sure when or if it would ever happen, and I basically was just like, no, I'll probably never do content again. Well, just this past July 2024, things finally really started to turn around for my little girl, and she finally started showing improvement and getting better, and has since graduated from physical therapy and is just becoming this normal, beautiful, healthy girl again. And for the first time, just maybe in the past 4 to 6 weeks, I started feeling like, wow, I think I could actually come back and do like a weekly video. So here I am. So over the past couple of years, just due to life, I've just changed a lot. I've changed a lot, and even the way that I game has changed a lot. So these days, I play a lot more solo, and that's really gonna be reflected in my content going forward, starting with my brand new series. I couldn't think of a better way to relaunch the channel, reintroduce myself, the things that I love about board games, by counting down my top 100 board games of all time. So my plan is, if you can bear with me, is to post a video once a week covering 10 board games at a time, of course, all the way down to my #1 favorite game. As with, I think, almost all of the board game community that does these videos, I did use Pub Meeple. It was my first time ever doing it. I actually found it to be quite tedious and very overwhelming to rank board games in this way, but I really don't know a more efficient way you would do it. When I got my list, I did have to go in there and kind of jostle some things around, because honestly, I think I was like zoned out clicking for a few, well, for many. I know for many of them, I was just like, this is fine, and then thinking like, oh wait, no. Sometimes you had to remind yourself like why you were doing it, like, no, which game would I rather play? Which game is better? It's an interesting experience if you haven't done it. Highly recommend it. Very easy. The legwork you have to put into it is really just having that Board Game Geek profile listing all your games. I've really not done my due diligence with that. So I did have some games that weren't in there that I had to go back in and kind of manually place them myself. So like I said, it is my top 100 list for the most part. Is it perfect? Would I like live or die by this? Probably not, but I think it's a really good indication of kind of where I'm at with most of these games. Obviously, I am so excited to be back, and I'd love for you to join me on this journey. If you love board games, especially solo games, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment. Obviously, this is my list, and these are games I like. I don't expect you to agree with my list, or else we would all just like the exact same board games. That's not fun. When I watch these videos, I'm kind of watching to see if there are some games that resonate with me, games I haven't heard about. So hopefully there will be a few on here like that. I don't know, but you'll have to let me know down below what you think of my list, I guess. And yeah, okay, let's get started. So for my first game, my 100th game, which seems like a negative, but it's not. There's just so many games. This is A Gentle Rain. This is one of those games that it's just really peaceful. It's a simple solo puzzle where you're placing tiles to match up flowers and create little blossoms. There's really no stress. There's no big decision space. It's just this quiet, like meditative experience. It's the kind of game you pull out when you need to unwind or just want to focus on something small and beautiful for a few minutes. It's definitely not for someone looking for a huge strategy game, but if you like a calming little puzzle, this one is lovely. This is my number 100. All right, my number 99 is Cubitos. This one is just fun. It's a dice rolling race where you're constantly pushing your luck, trying to roll for movement and special abilities. The dice system is super satisfying in my opinion, but teaching all the different abilities can be a bit daunting for newer players. Now, for the players we have taught it to, they do love it. So really, once everyone gets the hang of it, it's just this chaotic, hilarious, and all-around good time. I love Cubitos. I can't ever see it leaving my top 100, although I know it's close. All right, number 98 for me is Kingswood. Now, when I first went to Gen Con, this was one that I actually picked up, even though it wasn't a new game. I just really liked the theme of it, and I loved that it was a family weight game and of course had a solo mode. This is one of my favorite games. It's got this fun little rondelle system where you move a pawn around and you're basically gathering resources. You're training heroes and you're fighting monsters. It's really, really done well for solo players too, but it's also great for, my family and playing with my kids. It's simple enough for them to pick up, but still has enough strategy to keep it interesting for me. It's just a really solid, charming little game, and I love the artwork and I love the theme, so this is a keeper for me. All right, number 97 is After Us. This is Planet of the Apes. That's what I think of when I play this game, and I love that series. So I was hook, line, and sinker when I saw this come out, and I've really enjoyed it. At its core, it's basically a deck builder, but with monkeys, which, Planet of the Apes, hello, they're ruling the world now, and I'm completely here for it. I love it. You're leading a tribe of apes in this post-human world, trying to build the best deck and gain the most power. The gameplay itself is solid, but it can feel a little samey, I'm not gonna lie, after a while, but I feel like that can be an issue amongst most deck builders. Still, I absolutely love the art, I love the theme, and I'll never turn down a game where I get to lead a monkey civilization. Amazing. All right, number 96, I hope I don't get a lot of hate for this one, but it is Woodcraft. This one is tough for me. You're running a woodworking shop, trying to fulfill these contracts, building stuff, and the game is just so stinking tight. Sometimes it's too tight for me that I'm getting frustrated. I've had games where I just feel completely stuck. But that's also kind of what I like about it, which is just crazy, is figuring out the puzzle and really working through the challenge that the game presents. It's not a game I'd play all the time because it does infuriate me sometimes, but when I want something crunchy, this one's great solo, it's great two-player. I feel like it can get a little long because the turns do give you some of that AP, analysis paralysis, where you're trying to figure out how to get everything to work just right. Solo for me is ideal in these games because of the downtime when it's not your turn. I can lose my train of thought super easy. This one though, I do love it. It's such a great game. I love the idea of it, and I love having a game like this. I don't really have any other games that are quite like this in how they puzzle and just how that all works. So that is my number 96, Woodcraft. Whew, I need some water. I'm out of practice here, but number 95. Okay, number 95 is Overboss. This is one that my whole family enjoys. But again, I wouldn't say it's great for non-gamers because of how much stuff there is to learn. I hate that when I have such a great game that I know so many people would like, but they may not want, I just know learning all the different terrain tiles would be overwhelming for a lot of people. So, again, I'm looking at these and trying to rank them, but also give, some pros and cons about them on my list. Even though I love this game, I don't love teaching this game to new players, and it's basically a game that I'm either gonna solo and go through a campaign, or I'm gonna play with my family because they already know how to play. Not one of my favorite ones to teach to new players, but I absolutely love this game. You're basically drafting terrain tiles and then placing them in your overworld, trying to maximize points based on different scoring conditions. It's kind of like a puzzly take on a tile laying game, and it scratches that satisfying build your own map itch. It's just fun, but it definitely takes a game or two to really get into, but I absolutely love this game and I love every time I get to play it. Number 94 is Three Ring Circus. This one for me, I love the theme. I think I am more of a themer. You're basically running a traveling circus, you're booking acts, you're trying to impress the audience in different towns. The puzzle of when and where to perform is really, really satisfying in this one. And the solo mode is great. It's challenging, but it doesn't feel like you're just kind of like slogging through the motions. There's something really charming about this game, and it just kind of is nostalgic of kind of like how it used to be, you know, circuses moving through towns and your audience coming and just managing all of that. I really enjoy kind of the story that it brings me into and the world it brings me into. And you better know that whenever I play this game, I have the Greatest Showman soundtrack playing in the background, because, you know, I'm all about pairing my game with some ambiance music. I don't know if you guys do that, but I always, always, always do that. Anyway, that's my number 94 3-ring circus. Absolutely love it. Number 93, this one is maybe a little odd, but it is Disney The Haunted Mansion. The whole title is like Call of the Spirits or something. Okay, let's be real. This game is here purely because I love Disney and I love this ride. This is all about moving through the mansion. It's basically a set collection. You're collecting ghosts. You're trying to avoid the hitchhiking ghosts that mess with your score. Not the deepest game ever, but the theme, it resonates with me. I love it. The artwork is fun. It's nostalgic. It has all those little nods to the attraction. And if you're a fan of the ride, it's just stinking fun. It's a light game. I play it all year round. It doesn't have to just be in, you know, spooky season. And my kids love it. And so a lot of good memories around this game. That's why it is on my list at spot number 93. All right, number 92 is Paris, La Cité de l'Amour. I think it's like City of Lights. It is really hard for me to find a good two-player game, and this is one I really like. This is a gorgeous two-player game. You're basically building out the streets of Paris. I mean, yeah, I'm here for that. You're placing tiles and trying to have the best lit buildings. So the game has two phases, which I think is really unique. First, you're laying down these cobblestone tiles, and then you're placing buildings on top of them in a way that maximizes your score. It's got this really satisfying mix of planning and reacting, and every game feels like a little work of art by the time you're done. Whenever I get done playing this game, like I always have my iPhone out and I'm always taking pictures, because I just think every time I do, it's just so beautiful. I just absolutely love this game. A great two-player game. That is why it has earned the spot on this list at ranking number 92. All right, number 91 is Lanterns, the Harvest Festival. This one is just beautiful and pleasant. I don't really know what else to say. You're basically laying tiles to decorate a lake with colorful lanterns, and every time you place one, what I love about it is everyone around the table gets a lantern card based on where they're sitting. So there's this nice mix of strategy and generosity. You want to help yourself the most, but you're always giving something to your opponents too, which makes the decision space of how you lay things out really interesting. It's an easy game to teach, and it just feels great to play. There's a great decision space, and it's just fun. That is my number 91, and that is a wrap. Thanks for joining me. Tune in next week for another list of 10 games that I love on my list. Like I said in the beginning of the video, a lot of my favorites lean towards solo play, but I always try to include some great family games too. Let me know in the comments if you've played any of these, or if there's a game you think I should check out. I always am up for recommendations. I was super nervous about coming back onto YouTube, so hopefully this video is presented well, and you know, it's kind of like when you've not done something for so long. I'm feeling a little rusty, and like I said, it's been 2 years. Like, my life has changed a lot. I've grown a lot in my gaming world and like what I love, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And with all that said, I will see you next week.
You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.